How's it going, everybody? My name is Sinikle, and welcome back to some more Saya na Uta, the Song of Saya. So this is going to be the final video. So yes, thanks for sticking around. And yeah, enjoy the final ending and the final video of this visual novel series here. So I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to continue. Let's go ahead and continue and jump in from this load here. That is loud in my ears. Holy shit. I don't know what happened, but everything reset in my Windows. So the volume of everything is like back to default. Holy shit. That just ruined my eardrums. For you guys, there's like no change, but still. For me, there was, and it hurt. My little baby ears. My little baby ears, they hurt. Okay, so last time we called Ryoko first, but now we call Fuminori for the final ending. It's time to finish this. Just as he promised earlier, Koji calls Fuminori again. The call goes through immediately. Fuminori must have been waiting for it. Hey Koji, where are you? What difference does it make? As soon as Koji responds, a shrill ringing fills the house. Startled, Koji spins around and looks into the hallway. A house phone is flashing to signal an incoming call. I see. I figured you to be at my house. Koji fell for it. Fuminori is the one calling the house, and now he knows exactly where Koji is. He must have predicted that this would be Koji's first stop, and that Koji would call him upon finding it's empty. So I guess you have already seen everything. Yeah, Koji keeps his voice bold to conceal his horror. Horror. There we go. When did Fuminori become so cunning? It looks like you have become quite the meat eater since we last met. Just how many people have you killed? Actually, I've only killed one so far. Fuminori replies unapologetically. Yeah, that's Fuminori for you. His tone, upbeat. I've taken apart 3 or 4 though. I'm getting pretty good at removing the tendons and draining the blood and such. Koji no longer feels sadness or horror. You gotta specifically sound it out, or else things could get messy. When faced with Fuminori's inhumanity, there's only the cold desire to kill the creature, speaking such revolting words with his friend's voice. You killed Omi, didn't you, you bastard? You were lying when you said you hadn't seen her. I wonder, Fuminori mutters, seeming somehow embarrassed. I guess the first one I ate might have been Omi. It was the same day she disappeared, come to think of it. So yeah, he's known all along. The body wasn't in any shape that I could identify. Koji had already abandoned hope, but still a shock to hear of his lover's brutal end. I mean, duh. It would shock anybody. Tsukuba too? No, Fuminori says with an exasperated chuckle. She's here, like I promised. I'm no fool. I need her to trade with you, right? I won't waste her. Let me hear her voice. I don't think that's possible. She's in no shape to talk. Fuminori's dismissive words further sharpen Koji's bloodlust. You forget what I said. If you don't let her go unharmed. Come on, be happy that she's still alive. Or would you rather have Yo as a corpse? Let's get this straight, Koji. You bring your evidence along with all the files you've gathered. When I'm satisfied that they are the real thing, I'll hand Yo over. Fine. It's obvious that this deal is a sham. In all likelihood, Fuminori is planning to kill him and bury his secrets forever. Moreover, Koji doubts that Yo is even alive. Her meat could very well be somewhere in the refrigerator right in front of him. However, Koji isn't particularly interested in Fuminori's true intentions, after all. He has no intention of making a trade either. His only goal is to get close enough to destroy Fuminori and whatever is pulling his strings. Where? You remember Dr. Ogwai's house? The one you followed me to? Let's meet there tonight at 7. Come alone. Hey! Fuminori hangs up without waiting for Koji's response. Perhaps Fuminori, too, has sensed his opponent's intent. If so, then he realized that Koji is not just the hunted, but the hunter as well. Game? Did you freeze on me? Oh, okay, there we go. So we are like a duelist maneuvering for advantage. Koji smiles grimly as he pockets his phone. It's astounding how much their relationship has changed. The question is whether or not to comply with the 7 o'clock rendezvous agreement. If this were a serious negotiation, then it would be wise to avoid preempting Fuminori in any way that could provoke his anger. What Koji and Fuminori are really doing, however, is trying to lure each other into a deadly trap. Koji doesn't know what Fuminori plans to do between now and then, but he's not about to let his enemy keep the initiative. The fierce bloodlust that has taken root in his heart is more than enough to energize his exhausted body. Koji leaves the death-filled house, his stride more determined than before. Today was the first time I've driven since my accident last summer. The proposition was always too dangerous to consider, given my inability to recognize roads and cars. Things have changed, however, in the 3 months I've had to adapt to my condition. I know what cars and pedestrians look like now, and even though I can't exactly see colors, I've learned to decipher lights and turn signals. I still can't read street signs, of course. Nevertheless, I managed to make it safely to our destination with Saya and Yo in the back seat. It was Saya who came up with the idea for our new hideout, an abandoned building she discovered while living with Dr. Ogwai. In these hilly suburban residential areas, it's not hard to find thick patches of undeveloped forest just off the beaten path. Saya's old playground is located in one of such secluded areas, unaffected by the flow of everyday life. It used to be a privately operated sanatorium, hidden among the silent trees. After the owners went bankrupt, it remained unsold and was eventually forgotten. After I left Saya and Yo at the hideout, I returned to town to make some preparations. Now I'm finally back at our new refuge. I liked this ruin from the moment I saw it. Mountains of construction materials and garbage litter the front yard, forming a serviceable barricade. This place looks even less likely to receive unwanted attention than our house. Since my brain sees humans as revolting monsters, places they have been tend to stink or seem covered in filthy slime. Ruins like these, long empty of life, are the places I find the most restful. I think we've seen these. Yeah, this scene was in the other ending as well. So, some scenes are going to be the same and kept in. That's interesting. Alright. I'm back, I call out to let them know I'm not a stranger. And I go down to the basement where they are hiding. Welcome back. Were you okay with the car? It was no problem at all. I figured out how to tell which roads are one way as long as I keep my speed down. There's nothing to worry about. So how are things here? I took a look around. As I thought, there's no sign that anyone's been here since I found this place. Safe. I see. Let's hope it stays that way. I'm a little worried that this abandoned building could become a hangout for biker gangs or homeless people. It's probably because of all the trash piled out front. Most people won't get anywhere near that, don't you think? I guess. It doesn't bother me at all. I rather like it, in fact. But, of course, normal people would feel differently. So, how was your shopping? Did you find something good? I sure did. Yep, there's that again. I proudly unwrapped the weapon I just bought from the camping goods store. A 1 meter long wood axe, the biggest and sturdiest I could find. I like how this was right next to the sign saying that long knives are illegal. Seems like it could do way more damage with one of these. I grip the axe with both hands, testing its dependable weight, then swing it like a baseball bat. A deadly steel blade sweeps through the air, right where a person's neck would be. Yo, who's sprawled out on the floor, flinches at the sound and curls herself into a ball. How sharp is it? Want to test it on Yo? I don't think that's a good idea. I definitely wasn't expecting Saya to suggest anything so brutal. You don't need to worry. Her new body can heal pretty easily from cuts and such. But I'm sure it will hurt. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. It must have slipped her mind completely. She smiles at the oblivious Yo as if to hide her embarrassment. Says, her screams are pretty adorable, don't you think? Well, I just wouldn't feel right using an axe on a human. Really? Then what about Koji? That's easy. It should be obvious, but I guess that Saya still doesn't understand. I don't see him as a human. I'll have no trouble gutting him to pieces. It really makes a difference? Yeah, humans have a conscience, you see. No matter how much you hate someone, you can't help but think twice about killing them. And that's how I'll win. Really? Saya seems awfully subdued. I guess she's concerned about what will happen when I have it out with Koji. He's bigger and stronger, so I might not have much of a chance against him in a straight-up fight. But what's just slaying a monster to me is murder to him. This is big. He will definitely hesitate when it counts. I'm a little worried, Saya says softly, staring at the floor with unusual gravity. You can never be sure how someone will react. It's dangerous to rely on that. She raises her head and looks straight at me. Don't you think it would be better if I hunt him? I appreciate Saya's consideration, even though it could be interpreted as lack of faith in me. She's still putting my safety above hers. Nevertheless, I can't accept her heartfelt suggestion. With your strength, you might be able to overpower a girl like Yo, but I think it would be hard for you to take down a guy. The bitter memory of Saya's rape is still fresh in my mind. Saya falls silent for a moment, seeming to understand what I'm thinking. But then it comes right back to stubbornly press her case. My first attack went fine though. Most humans go limp as soon as they see me. It's the oh my god, my throat. It was the same in the hospital. You were the only one who could talk to me. I guess you have a point. I can't imagine it personally, but I suppose it's possible that Saya's appearance is shocking enough to make someone lose their nerve. Zumi was able to gain the advantage because he had the same condition as me, which let him see Saya as a cute girl. Fear doesn't necessarily make people weaker, however. Depending on the situation, it can even send someone into a berserk rage and make them harder to put down. In other words, such a tactic would be the same sort of gamble as Saya is worried about. Alright, Saya, how about this? When I tell Saya the new plan that just popped into my head, her gloomy frown turns into a bright smile. That's perfect. You're so smart, Fuminori. Oh, stop. It's not exactly a great plan, but I guess the fact that it lessens the risk to me is enough to excite her. She's so easy to please, but that's part of what makes her so cute. So when is Koji coming? I got a call from him this morning. For now, I've sent him on a wild goose chase. I'm thinking I should shake him up a bit. It'll be best to take care of him after it's dark, don't you think? Yeah, when the time is right, I'll lure him here and finish him. We won't have to worry about witnesses here. We are finally going to get more human meat. Too bad it's just going to rot without a refrigerator. Why don't we use it to trap other animals? It could be bait for stray cats or crows. That's too dangerous. If an animal gets away with the meat, someone might find it and wonder where it came from. Good point. Humans are extremely dangerous, and their filthy, stinking bodies make me sick just by being nearby. Ironically, however, nothing tastes better than their meat. I truly regret having to abandon our well-stocked fridge. The forest around here is full of animals. I don't think we'll have any trouble finding food. We have 3 months to feed. Are you sure? 3 mouths to feed. Whoops. Leave it to me. I may not look it, but I'm a pretty good hunter. I'll be sure to keep us well fed. Okay. Looks like you are going to be the breadwinner of this family. Saya giggles happily at my praise. I find these childish qualities of hers adorable. I wonder how long we'll be able to relax this time. Because of the casual way she says it, I almost miss the emptiness of which her question leads. Yeah. That's right. This won't last forever. No matter how safe this hideout might seem, we will have to abandon it eventually. The slightest mistake could put our life together in jeopardy. Just like when I failed to silence Koji. Some dumb kids might decide that this old ruin is a good place to test their courage, or this land might be targeted for new development. In order to be together with Saya, I have chosen to live apart from society. We will never find lasting peace in this world teeming with humans, not unless we can somehow escape from it. Think of it like going on a journey. Just the two of us. I pull Saya into my arms and fold my hands around her slender shoulders, then whisper, life is like a journey anyway. Nothing stays the same forever. The only difference is whether the time passes you by or sweeps you up in its flow. That's a weird saying. I guess you're right. Saya smiles softly, perhaps in resignation, perhaps in sadness. Either way, there is peace and contentment in her expression. But we will be together. I'm not lonely. You're not lonely either, are you? No. I have no regrets. As long as I can hold Saya in my arms, I will gladly pay any price. And besides, he adds brightly, trying to cheer me up. Oh god, what is she about to say now? One day we won't have to hide anymore. I can promise you that. It sounds like a fairy tale, but for some reason she seems absolutely certain. That day might come tomorrow, or it might be far off in the future. It's my first time, so even I don't know when the sign will come. I'm a little scared. I have no idea what Saya's prophetic words mean. But this isn't the first time that she's said or done something mysterious. She's performed any number of miracles already. So there's hope for us too? Yeah, she says with a cheerful nod. It will be my last present to you, Fuminori. My first and final duty. Okay. Oh, this is going to be a little bit new. Perfect. Koji has nothing to do but wait. He has spent almost half a day in the dark, empty study, breathing stale air choked with mold as he strains his ears for the slightest hint of movement below. Few people could endure such a vigil, but Koji has accomplished it without complaint. If anything, the suffering is welcome, for it keeps his nerves honed for a razor's edge. To a razor's edge. For what the fuck? Sorry. Without a doubt, his single-minded focus is the only thing allowing him to push the limits of his stamina. Koji understands this and embraces the pain. His closest friend has shattered his world like glass, and now Koji feels only hate towards the madness that has replaced it, and toward himself for allowing it to happen. Self-loathing is a more reliable source of willpower than any faith or resolve, no matter how noble. When he arrived at the Ogwai house, Koji snuck inside carefully, hoping to perhaps take his enemy by surprise. It was only after he got inside that he realized the house was still abandoned. Even so, Koji was sure that Fuminori would arrive earlier than promised in order to set up an ambush. However, the light streaming through the windows turned red, then faded to darkness, with no sign of anyone coming. Koji's patience has grown weaker and weaker by the moment. And now the appointed time has arrived. Just as Koji's frustration is about to peak, his phone begins to vibrate and flash. It's from Fuminori. He's calling rather than showing up himself. Rage threatens to overwhelm him for an instant, but Koji manages to keep his voice calm as he answers. What's going on here, Fuminori? Well, I was worried that you might be wasting energy on something silly, like planning an ambush, Fuminori says, chuckling scornfully. It's kind of late, but I guess I should tell you the real meeting place before you lose your mind. Did I make it in time? Son of a bitch. Come on, don't get mad. I'm just being careful, right? Fuminori laughs with unrestrained malevolence. Malevolence? Malevolence? No. As though to emphasize that he's seen through Koji's plans. But he didn't set up an ambush. Oh, he didn't really set up... What? Huh. I don't know about that. Assuming you are at Dr. Ogwai's house, there's a place nearby within walking distance. Yo and I are there. I'll give you the address. You should be able to find it on your car's GPS. You have proof this isn't another trick? If you are that paranoid, you don't have to come. Just turn tail and run. Fuminori hangs up immediately after speaking his challenge. Koji leaps out of his chair and kicks it across the room, unable to find any other outlet for his rage. He has no choice but to do what Fuminori says. His stamina is already exhausted. Only his obsession is keeping him going. If he allows himself even a moment's rest, he fears that he will never again find the strength to face this madness. Tonight is his only chance to kill Fuminori. Koji knows, of course, that his enemy is planning to ambush him. Fuminori isn't going to fight fair, but then, neither is Koji.
Oh, so he did set up something, did he?
Did he? With the unsteady stride of a man half asleep, Koji leaves the Ogwai house and heads for his car. Tired boy. Only the base of these foothills have been developed for housing. The address Fuminori gave Koji is outside of that area, in the thick forest that still covers the mountain's face. His car's GPS shows a road that leads nowhere. But according to Fuminori, there should be an old, abandoned sanatorium there. It's definitely a place that no one could find, not even by accident. Maybe this next stop really will be the last. Koji drives up the steep incline, soon leaving the residential neighborhood behind. Even though the hands of progress are right at its doorstep, the undeveloped forest is darker than expected. This looks like a great place to live in secret, or to kill someone and hide the body. Places like this, lost and forgotten, aren't found only in deep jungles and hidden valleys. Holes in the world are everywhere, even in the midst of civilization. A broken down gate post suddenly appears in Koji's headlights, like a ghost rising from the darkness. It looks like this is the final stop. He rolls up to the gate and turns off the engine, giving himself to the silence of the forest. His phone starts ringing almost immediately. He doesn't need to check who it's from. I'm here. Yeah, I heard you. Welcome to my new home. Fuminori is nearby, close enough to hear the sound of the engine. A shiver of excitement shoots up Koji's spine. Come inside. Yo is waiting. Fuminori hangs up without another word. After grabbing his new flashlight from the glove compartment and checking that the revolver is still in his pocket, Koji opens the door and gets out of the car. Mountains of trash litter the front yard, forming a serviceable barricade. Koji sees everything from small refrigerators and mopeds to huge chunks of concrete and plaster that must have been abandoned by construction workers. The fact that they could get away with leaving all this stuff behind shows just how remote this place is. The moon is brighter than usual, allowing Koji to walk through the front yard without tripping on debris. Staying alert, he heads for the building beyond the mountains of trash. Something must have buried beneath, Something must be buried underneath the piles of garbage, because the whole yard is filled with a sharp stink of chemicals. Even the homeless probably wouldn't come to this place. If you need to get out of the wind or rain, there are plenty of shelters more suitable. How many times now has he stood like this, alone in some ominously silent place, far removed from his everyday life? Sneaking into deathly quiet houses to find traces of unimaginable happenings have become his normal, as going to class. The houses that he explored before were like freshly shed cicada shells, empty and dilapidated, but with traces of the life they had sheltered. This place, however, is different. A perfect ruin, its walls and pillars rising from the dark forest like any army of ghosts, with no sign at all that people once lived and worked here. The structure resembles a skeleton more than a shell. Time and the elements have stripped it of its former shape, and now there is only death. Koji has gone as far as he can. This must be the final stop. What will Fuminori's next move be? He must be planning to kill Koji, but how? Just as he's about to turn on his flashlight, Koji reconsiders. If he wanders around with the light on, he will be broadcasting his exact location. That will give the advantage to Fuminori, who's probably lying in wait for him right now. He holds the flashlight before him in his left hand with his finger poised on the switch. In his right hand, he raises the revolver, keeping it pointed in the same direction. Now ready to fire when he turns on the light, Koji steps quietly into the dark ruin. It takes a while for his eyes to adjust, but even when they do, he has only moonlight streaming through empty windows to guide him. Everything appears grey and indistinct. However, Fuminori has to deal with the same conditions if he's hiding here. This is a battle of nerves, exhausting and deadly, where the first to make a sound and give away his position will lose. The rooms on both sides of the hallway are all open. Some are even missing their doors. Koji creeps up to each entrance, checking to make sure no one is inside, then carefully proceeds on. The stink that he noticed in the garden has changed. Now it smells more organic, like rotting meat. It's the exact same smell that filled Fuminori's house. Whoosh. Koji freezes and stares down the hall. It was a wet sound that he heard just now, like someone dragging their feet through a swamp. And it came from the room at the end of the hall. Something is there, something alive. Koji creeps toward the sound, his light and gun at the ready. Now it sounds like someone squeezing mud through their fingers, and as it gets closer, Koji begins to hear breathing. Could it be Fuminori? No, that's impossible. He should be waiting for a chance to ambush Koji, not making careless noise. As he proceeds, the strange sound coming through the cracks in the concrete walls grows clear. Before he knows it, he is standing on the threshold. The room is filled with a thick, viscous darkness, just like every other room that he's passed. There is more than just darkness, however. Something is there. He can hear pained breathing, like that of a wounded animal, and what sounds like sobbing. Sobbing? Who's there? Koji whispers into the darkness. Now that he's given away his position, he might as well turn on his light. For some reason, however, Koji feels that to do so would have disastrous consequences. The last time I heard her voice on the phone, she was sobbing. The wheezing suddenly stops. And then a whisper, "Oh, gee," comes out of the darkness. Though not a human voice, not by any means, it speaks some blasphemous semblance of human words. A nightmarish flash of insight connects the dots in Koji's mind. It can't be. Yo doesn't sound like this. She doesn't smell like this. Please, Koji, kill me. But if it's not Yo, then how does it know his name? Why is it begging him for help? No, it can't be Yo. She's human, not some creature that slithers and hides in the shadows. It hurts. This body always hurts. Save me, Koji. The thing wriggles closer. His reason cries out, imploring him to switch the light on before it's too late, or to turn and run if he cannot. But Koji is unable to make either choice. He can only call out in vain to the amorphous shape in the darkness. Is it you, Tsukuba? Is it really you? Let me die. No. Or please, kill me. Something soft and slimy slides over Koji's toes. Instinct overrides his will, forcing him to turn on his light and shine it at his feet. The white beam reveals everything. Merciless truth that finally shatters Koji's sanity. Terror wipes his mind of all but two words, gun and trigger. His finger responds with instant obedience. There's an explosion of light and sound, both more intense than he anticipated, and then the destructive forces are swallowed up by the darkness. His ears are still ringing from the bang, but he hears a weak voice coming from the shadows.
It hurts.
Koji screams and pulls the trigger again and again, certain that salvation has come only from the barrel of his gun. Light and darkness, explosion and silence. They dance before him 3 more times. Koji doesn't even need to aim. The horrible creature is right at its feet, far too close to miss. Ryoko warned him how many bullets were left in the gun, but that information has already been driven from his mind. Even after the cold, heavy gloom wraps itself around him once more, Koji keeps pulling the trigger like a man possessed, paying no heed to the clicking of the empty gun. His panic-stricken legs suddenly give out, sending him down hard on his backside. Even then, he keeps firing his empty gun. He knows no other way to erase the memory of the thing that he glimpsed in the beam of his flashlight. The light, which fell from his hand during the attack, is now pointing in a different direction. And though all 4 bullets must have hit their target, they were Koji's last card to play, which leaves him alone in the darkness with no way to defend himself. And just as he realizes this, a mass of rotting flesh rolls over him like a tidal wave. He can no longer even scream as the thing pushes him onto his back. With fear seizing his throat in an iron grip, Koji struggles desperately against the monster as it crawls up his body towards his face. Covering his face with his left hand, he scrabbles wildly along the floor with his right, searching for a way out that doesn't exist. In his mind is that of a feral animal, empty of everything but primal terror. And that is why even his right, And that is why when his right hand closes around something hard, at the last moment, he recognizes it instinctively as a weapon. Putting every ounce of strength into his arm, Koji swings the heavy object at the creature on top of him. He hears the thud of a blunt object striking something soft and wet, and then Koji's attacker rolls off him. As soon as he is able to move again, Koji leaps to his feet and grabs his new weapon with both hands, brandishing it like a charmed ward off evil. Only now does he realize that he's holding a rusty steel pipe. The monster is still sobbing. Oh shit, what the fuck? That's not what I wanted to do. How do I, there we go. I remember now. That's cool. Oh shit. With a cry that is part scream, part roar, Koji raises the steel pipe and brings it crashing down on the cowering creature. He hears a wet sound and feels the blood-chilling sensation of its thick, soft flesh absorbing the blow. These combine to evoke an instinctive loathing that wipes his mind of all but the urge to destroy. Consumed by the same desperation with which he kept firing the empty gun, Koji rains blow after blow down on his enemy. After the 10th blow, it stops sobbing. After the 20th blow, it stops moving, and after the 30th blow, it begins to feel and sound more and more like he's beating a puddle of viscous liquid. Oh god. Overkill. Koji doesn't stop thrashing the creature until he recovers enough of his senses to realize that whatever it might have been before, it is now nothing but a corpse. The pipe in his hand, covered with unidentifiable fluids and filth, suddenly feels unbearably heavy. 20 years of memories in the light of the sun. If they were indeed precious to him, then he should never have come to this place. The black flames of despair rise within him, consuming fear and revulsion and pity. Only rage and hate remain. Every cell in his body cries out for vengeance, for the blood of the man who poisoned him with with truth and tore him from the womb of innocence. Okay. Dramatic. And then Koji, slave to hate, hears the sound of someone sneaking up behind him. Koji whirls, swinging his pipe with all the force he can muster. His enemy hastily leaps back to avoid the strike, surprised by his failure to catch Koji off guard. Twisted shadows dance in the beam of the light on the floor. Readying his pipe for the next blow, Koji faces off against his second attacker. Before this moment, Koji could never have imagined that he would ever speak his friend's name with such hatred. Hey, that was a heavy pretty swing just now. You trying to kill me or something? Even now, Fuminori is smiling, as though the huge axe in his hands is just a sick joke. Damn, Koji. I thought you'd hesitate. You thought I'd hesitate against you? Koji sneers too, unable to contain his contempt for the notion. How did you kill Omi, you piece of shit? What did you do to Scuba? After all this, you expect me to think twice about killing you? That's my line, Koji. Fuminori growls, looking sadly at the pile of dead flesh at Koji's feet. How could you do such a horrible thing to Yo? I'll make sure you suffer before I kill you. Oh shit. The blade of Fuminori's axe carves a murderous arc through the darkness, glittering menacingly in the faint light coming from the floor. Koji raises his pipe to block the ferocious swing. The heavy impact numbs his arms, but his large frame takes the blow without giving any ground. Fuminori praises. Yeah, sure, I guess.
That was nice, I guess.
Fuminori presses the attack, delivering a second blow and a third. His axe, designed for chopping down trees, is deadlier than more durable than the piece of pipe Koji found discarded on the floor. Each strike Koji blocks sends chunks of rust flying from his makeshift weapon. He can't win as long as he's on the defensive. He needs to create an opportunity to attack. Bastard! Koji blocks a crushing downward swing, then pushes back hard before Fuminori can pull away, throwing him off balance. Fuminori stumbles backward, then plants his feet to steady himself. Taking advantage of his opponent's temporary immobility. Holy brain fart. Temporary immobility. There we go. Koji delivers a punishing low kick to Fuminori's outer thigh. Fuminori grunts and retreats, swinging his axe wildly to prevent Koji from following up with another attack. Koji, however, does not press his advantage. He just stands where he is, calmly spearing Fuminori with his stare. You've never been in a fight, have you? Fuminori roars and comes in for another attack. Haha, taunt successful. But the damage to his right leg seems to be slowing his swing. Easily blocking the axe with his pipe, Koji waits for Fuminori to exhaust himself. Fuminori delivers blow after heavy blow, howling savagely all the while. What he does not realize, however, is that the situation now favors composure, not brute force. When Fuminori raises his axe high for yet another attack, Koji sees that his movements have grown dull enough. Seizing the opportunity, Koji charges into Fuminori's range and grabs the haft of the axe with his left hand. As Fuminori recoils in fear, Koji swings his pipe hard at his enemy's unprotected side. He feels the crunch of ribs breaking. The pain drives Fuminori to his knees, staring down at Fuminori's defenseless head. Koji, surprised by his own lack of emotion, raises his pipe high to deliver the finishing blow, which is when something wraps itself around his left ankle. What? The instant Koji panics at the unexpected sensation, something soft yet strong winds itself around his right leg and drags him to the floor before he can resist. He twists his body and tries to swing the pipe at the unseen enemy behind him, but his right hand too is seized by the same flexible force. He wasn't able to feel it through his pants, but now his blood turns to ice at the cold, slimy sensation of the thing wrapped around his uncovered wrist. That monster still alive? That's it, Saya. Fuminori says encouragingly. Even while kneeling on the floor, his face twisted in pain, he manages a terrible, victorious grin. Saya. This monster is Saya. Koji struggles desperately to free his limbs from the creature's slimy grip. But more tentacles swarm... Tentacles? Oh my god. But more tentacles swarm over his body, stealing his freedom of movement. The horror has already driven Koji half mad. Just imagining the creature's appearance is enough to send him into a mindless panic. His scream is suddenly cut off as a slimy appendage seizes his throat. Wait, what? This most deadly tentacle isn't just cutting off his windpipe. It's trying to snap his neck. And it's getting tighter. Oh? My mind hazy from the pain, I watch as Saya feasts upon her slain prey. We have won. It was hard, and I wasn't able to do it alone, but together we have defeated our enemy. The price was steep. At least 2 of my ribs are broken, sending a sharp pain shooting through my chest every time I breathe. Then there's Yo. I didn't expect her to fall to Koji so easily. I suppose that, unlike Saya, she might have been unfamiliar with how to use her new body in combat. My injury must have fueled Saya's anger. Her slaughter of Koji was merciless and complete. As soon as her prey stopped moving, she sank her teeth into his vital organs and ruthlessly extinguished the last embers of life. Though her brutal, grisly actions were unbecoming of her girlish appearance, Saya's face, covered in blood and gore, was that of a victorious queen of beasts lording over her defeated foe. There was something noble and sacred about her primal ferocity that made me reluctant to disturb her. I don't know how long I've been sitting here, watching Saya feast. I've nearly fainted from the pain several times, to be honest. I'm not used to violence. The wounds I suffered in the car accident were worse, of course. But these broken ribs are the most severe injury that's ever been deliberately inflicted upon me. You'd think that Saya could show a little more concern for my condition. Koji is already as dead as can be, so there's no reason for her to be so greedy. I suddenly realize that Saya has stopped eating. Now she's lying on her back, rolling from side to side. Has she eaten too much? It's been several days since we've had fresh, unfrozen meat, so I understand where her enthusiasm is coming from. But still, I'm wounded here. You could give me a hand. Because I'm preoccupied with my own selfish wants, I'm slow to realize that something is wrong. I mean, it sounds like it. Saya isn't resting. She's trembling in agony. My blood goes cold and the pain from my broken ribs is suddenly forgotten. I jump up, run to her side, and cradle her fallen body in my arms. Her face is pale and drenched in sweat, and her half-closed eyelids and lips are shivering like she has a fever. What's going on? Was she wounded in a fight? Could the meat she just ate have been poisoned somehow? I don't understand. All I know is that something terrible is happening. Ah. Weird. The only thing I could do is call her name with all my strength. Saya slowly opens her eyes and gazes vacantly into my face. Sorry, Fuminori. I'm fine, really. It just hurts a little. What's wrong? What is it? Come on, Saya. There's no way she's fine. It's glaringly obvious that her condition is dire. Even so, I'm the only one who's panicking. Saya's expression is serene, as though she understands everything that is happening to her. She even smiles softly up to me. I can't believe it. I never thought it would come so soon. I might lose Saya. The thought is unbearable. Terror and despair are quickly overwhelming me. A feeling of utter helplessness that I cannot resist. Don't be afraid. Remember what I said. This is the sign. This is our only hope. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Stay with me, Saya. Saya answers my tearful entreaty with a smile, like that of a mother comforting her child. I did it. I decided to do my best. After all, you said you loved me. You said that I was pretty. Stop this! Whatever is happening, I can't just sit by and watch as it causes Saya such agony. Please, whatever you're trying to do, I don't want to see you suffer. Don't be like that. Saya chides me. Please understand. In a soft voice, she reveals her secret. They are going to be born, our children. For a moment, my mind goes completely blank. What? What? When did you? I'm surprised too. Fuminori? Saya's labored breathing speaks to the terrible pain her tiny body is suffering. Even so, she wraps her arms tightly around my neck. What the fuck? Take me outside, to an open place under the sky. I nod. What else can I do? If I speak, I'm afraid that I'll be unable to hold back my tears. I mustn't cry, not when Saya is facing her torment so bravely. Feels like Saya is burning up in my arms, and I fear that the terrible convulsions that shoot through her at intervals will tear her frail body to pieces. Praying for her safety, I scoop Saya up and carry her swiftly out of the ruined building. Maybe the cold night air will soothe her fever, but that hope is futile, truly dashed, as her breathing grows shallow and she moans through bluish lips. We are outside. In response to my call, she opens her eyes once more. Her gaze is cloudy and unfocused. Can no longer see. Nevertheless, Saya looks at me. I can tell that she is imagining my expression where my face should be. Just as I promised, this is my final present. I know. I hope you will like it. Of course I will. It takes every ounce of my willpower, but I manage to make my voice light and cheerful. In Saya's mind's eye, I know that I am smiling. You won't have to see my face streaked with tears. To you, who loved me, I give this planet. Saya's whisper is weak and pained, but there is ecstasy in her voice. Ecstasy and joy. Her back suddenly shifts, then bulges outward. This world will be beautiful, she whispers in exultation. exultation. A world just for us. And then Saya blooms. How else can I describe it? Flower petals, long and wide, spread from her back like the wings of a newly formed butterfly. Their brilliant glow comes from the countless tiny scales that cover each petal, like particles of light. Is this goodbye? I ask her, careful to keep the sorrow out of my voice. No, not goodbye. This is the beginning. Saya's pain must have already left her, for her expression is infinitely peaceful and content. The beginning of our world. The radiant motes. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but whatever. Rise on the wind, painting rivers of light in the frozen winter sky. It is beautiful. Overwhelmingly, painfully beautiful. Singing victoriously of their freedom, the shining seeds of life are released into this vast and fertile land. Her song heralds the coming of the new world and the destruction of the old. It is a boundless healing. It is an eternal blessing. We shall fill the world with our joy. Now we will be together forever, won't we? Embracing Saya's pitifully shrunken body, I gaze into the shining sky and let my tears flow freely. Thank you. Thank you for this final gift, Saya. Okay. He was worried at first how long the preserved foods in the underground storeroom would last her. But now it seems that her fears were unfounded. It's the liquor she should have worried about. By savoring each drop of... What's this word? Varietas? I don't know. As though it was her last, she thought she could make her flask hold out a little longer. But she must have been consuming more each day than she realized. Ryoko? Are we in her perspective now? Who can blame her? There's no way that she could have gotten through this without the intoxication effects of distilled alcohol. Yep. After Ryoko chased useless emotions like hope and despair from her mind, she found herself spending the most peaceful days of her life. As resignation set in, even hate and fear left her. Now she feels only awe for what Ogwai Masahiko did and respect for the depth of his intellectual curiosity. After all, neither she nor this world has any reason left to deny his research. Alone in the mountain cabin, Ryoko killed time by bringing order to the documents that Ogwai had left behind. She took the scattered, enciphered papers and rewrote them in a more readable fashion, eliminating redundancies and adding indexes and tables of contents. Ryoko did not intend for anyone to read them, of course. She knew full well how meaningless her actions were. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. With her reason to live gone. However, having something to devote her mind to was at least some relief. And now, as the last congratulatory drops of... I don't know what this word is, but... Biotis vodka burned their way down Ryoko's throat, All of Ogwai's research lies before her in a single volume. He has finally finished transcribing and annotating the last of his writings. Enjoying the satisfaction of a pointless job well done, she idly pages through the manuscript that she has just completed. I shall conclude my summarization. I shall conclude by summarizing my theory as it currently stands. The life form that I named Saya did not appear in our universe by chance, nor even as a result of my summoning, but because of the instincts that were programmed directly into her biology. He was created to fulfill the same ultimate purpose that all life shares: reproduction. Saya and her kind procreate. Hold on. Saya and her kind procreate by spreading their seeds to other dimensions. What is the probability that they will discover a doorway to another world? Even if they succeed in doing so, the chance of that world being suitable for reproduction must be even more minute. Huh? In order to make the most of that scant probability, evolution has granted them a certain advantage. None other than the astonishing ability that I have witnessed in Saya. To wit, they select the most prosperous life form that they encounter, take control of it, and in doing so gain dominance over that planet's biosphere. In other words, they hijack the entire species. They do this by analyzing their target's genome, then overwriting its genetic code to remake it in their own image. Saya's biology is more than capable of inducing such dramatic and widespread mutation. There is a significant probability that the target species will have evolved into intelligent life. This element may be necessary to gaining control of a planet's environment. Therefore, Saya and her sisters also plunder their target's culture and psychology. Her extraordinary learning ability and intellectual curiosity are likely instinctive tools that enable her to inherit the target species' entire wealth of knowledge. In fact, it may be that Saya's kind has always had its sights set on intelligent life. Perhaps they wait patiently for some foolish extra-dimensional species to gain knowledge of their other worlds, and in attempting to satisfy its curiosity make contact with the outer universe in which they dwell, rather than send Saya and her kin on their dimensional journeys with only luck and their own strength to depend on. Would not waiting for such contact greatly increase the chance of finding a world worthy of conquest? Just as I, having acquired the Silver Key, fancied myself an explorer of the unknown, how many intelligent life forms on other worlds have thoughtlessly congratulated themselves for discovering Saya's sisters. Whoa. Okay, this took a turn. What the fuck? Taken by the sudden urge to go outside for a change, Ryoko gathers up the manuscript and heads to her car, which is parked in the front yard. She has completed her self-imposed final duty. There is no longer any reason for her to remain holed up in the mountain cabin. She drives a little farther up the mountain to an open place that offers a scenic view of the land below. In the early days of the change, Ryoko often came to the spot to watch helplessly over the mutating city. Huh. That sounds not good. The one flaw in my theory comes from none other than Saya herself. After using me to learn everything she could about humanity, Saya should finally have been prepared to begin the last stage of her invasion. However, she never carried out her mission. Why? I hypothesize that Saya has an irregular among her kind. Was an irregular among her kind. It is said that the human race's intelligence has allowed us to conquer our natural instincts. Perhaps, in observing the human psyche, Saya accidentally inherited the disease that infects our entire species. What is human love, really? What behavior could be more of a hindrance to the efficient propagation of a species? I am reminded of how, at the end of her studies, Saya consumed vast quantities of romantic literature from all over the world. She tried to understand romances as an integral part of the human reproductive process. As a result, she might have unwittingly nurtured her own unparalleled reproductive abilities. After all, she had not known love. She had come to this world to rule it in our place, and had studied humanity to fulfill that purpose. But ultimately, she could not share love with the human. Without love's blessing, Saya was unable to find the passion to fill this world with her kind. In learning all that there was to know about humanity, she herself had become helplessly human. Weary in loneliness, she despaired of the world. How pure her maiden soul must have been. If this hypothesis is correct, then it means that I have failed as her teacher. I cannot help but feel ashamed for having spoiled such an extraordinary organism. Saya. Next to Ogwai Masahiko, Ryoko now knows more about the entity than anyone else. No. When the young man named Sakisaka Fuminori is added to the running, perhaps she only comes in third. In the end, she never encountered the creature face to face. She would like to have met it once, though. If Ogwai's analysis of Saya's psychology is correct, then it must have been Sakisaka Fuminori who restored her desire to conquer the world. Perhaps, as Fuminori's chief physician, Ryoko played some role in bringing that lonely young man and Saya together, in which case, he should at least have had the right to attend their wedding to end all weddings. That's a little weird. Yeah, sure. You might even have charged them a matchmaker's fee. Haha, so funny. Good. I have a dream that one day my daughter will know the blessings of love. I pray that there will come a day when her heart burns with the flames of passion and her world becomes bright and joyous once more. So basically both worlds are combining into one, right? Her biology is mixing with, well, ours, and yeah, both worlds are merging into one. Or rather, I guess the invasion thing is true here. Interesting. When that day comes, Saya, your terrible, irresistible purpose will surely consume us, that your progeny may flourish. The whole world will know your love and be reborn. Ah, what wonders the future holds. I deeply regret that I must end my life before I can see that day come. But the footsteps of those who would destroy my dream grow closer by the hour. If I seal my lips in death, then their grasping hands will not reach you. Please forgive me, my daughter, for leaving you alone in this barren world. With the knowledge that you now possess, I know that you will find your own path. The radiance of your hard-won soul shall light the road ahead. Have no fear, have no doubt. March onward until you reach your answer at last. And I, Saya, will dream forever the world that you will create. Perhaps it is the isolated environment or the mountain air. Maybe she's just more resistant to the change. Whatever the case, Ryoko has not yet become as inhuman as the creatures wriggling through the city below. He does not know exactly how many people on this planet could still be called human, but she's one of what must be only a handful of survivors who are left to watch over the end of mankind. Ah, apocalypse style. Neato. Of course, it's only a matter of time before she changes too. Of course. It has been 3 days since she chopped off her right hand, which had ceased to function as anything resembling a human hand. Oh, interesting. But the itching that has spread across her entire back is growing more intolerable by the hour. Oh, well, yeah, okay. You're on borrowed time. Gotcha. She could look in a mirror to see what she is becoming, but she doubts that it would make her happy. Ryoko thinks that maybe it would be best to just go to sleep here, with the world spread out before her. When she awakens, perhaps she will be ready to descend the mountain and join in the city's revelries. Or maybe she won't even need such resolve anymore. Whatever the case, Ryoko thinks dreamily as she licks the very last drop from her flask. Even after I stop being human, I hope I'll still enjoy the taste of booze. Okay. Really, is that it? Are we getting the credits? Yep, okay. That was it. Hey! The Song of Saya. Okay. I'm gonna let the credits play, and we'll see what happens after. Maybe there'll be a little scene afterwards. If not, and it brings me to the homepage screen thing there, and I'll talk about the series. And yeah, I'll see you all in a minute. And that was the ending for the Song of Saya. Quite an interesting story. Kind of a weird ending too, where it went full on, kind of like, well, I said it myself, kind of like an apocalyptic kind of thing, where we didn't even know specifically what's happening to the humans. They're, I guess, slowly changing into the biology that was Saya, which was weird because also not only the biology but the mind of Fuminori was, it's so hard to describe. Fuminori was human, but his mind was fucked up to the point where it was, I guess, somehow the genetic code was close and resembling to that of Saya's in Saya's world. Very weird. Very scientific too, which is not my strong point, but anyways. There were quite a few gross parts, but I think that's the symbolism of the story here, the grotesqueness of the world. But I guess that's the symbolism of Saya's world, which is apparently just grotesque in nature, and the grotesqueness of our world and humans, I guess. I think that's the symbolism, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing the point. But our two worlds did merge at the end, which I think was also part of the symbolism, where it, because of love, it merged and created something not exactly new, but it's aiming in a unknown direction, which is also nice. You don't exactly know what's going to happen, and it leaves the story off, making you wonder, which was nice. And we don't even know what happens to Fuminori. Maybe he's maybe because the world is changing to how he's already perceived it before it's changed in that direction. Maybe to him everything's back to normal, but we don't know that, do we? So yeah, quite an interesting in-depth thought there for the readers to have, right? It was a nice story overall, though. I quite enjoyed it. I hope you all did as well. It was something new and different. And yeah, I would have to give it a good old solid 8. Again, the grotesqueness and the weird ass, the human eating and the visuals. While it's different, it was not for me. It was disgusting. Very disgusting. But it was an impactful and good story. So that's why it's an 8 out of 10 for me. What do you all give it a score of? Let me know down in the comments below. And yeah, we finished. Woohoo! Clap, clap. I don't know why I said clap, clap. I can just do it. There we go. Shut up. I don't know what I'll do next, but I got some ideas. You'll probably see them already being uploaded, or maybe not. I don't know. I got some videos already recorded. I don't know what I'll be uploading first. So, yeah, surprise, surprise. But I'll see you all next time for the next adventure. See y'all then. Bye-bye.